10 horror movies that would make great television. Horror has been making great inroads to television with American Horror Story, The Walking Dead, and Ash vs. Evil Dead. The last one got canceled recently. It is a great time to be a horror fan. It started me thinking about what horror films would do a good transition to television. These are some of my ideas for horror movies that would make great television shows, and some of the ideas that I'd use to make them into series. Jeepers Creepers. The Creeper is a creature that awakens every 23 years to hunt down new victims, taking the body parts he wants for himself. There are a lot of ways you could go with this, but I think starting with just a murder investigation that has a body with missing body parts would be a great start, and let it grow slowly. You could build a cult to the creature who search for potential body parts they think would please the monster. A group of former victims or their descendants could be searching out his origins to find a way to kill him forever. The potential countdown to his awakening would create nice tension and pressure on the protagonists. All of the various storylines would create the ability to have several seasons. You could even introduce past hunts of the creeper with flashbacks or stories written by survivors from long ago. Pumpkinhead, one of my personal favorite series. Pumpkinhead is about a creature that can't be killed except by slaying the one who made the bargain to summon it. The one who makes the bargain to summon it to kill people also sees and feels the pain of those that Pumpkinhead kills. This is good because you can have a lot of individual stories to explore. Do it kind of as an anthology series. Why are these people so desperate for revenge? Who do they want revenge against? And how will they feel watching the suffering of their victims? It would give a lot of chances to have different actors or actresses come on the show, and you could have a series of episodes connected for longer stories. Number three, most people are Silver Bullet. Most people are familiar with the Stephen King classic werewolf story, and I think it would work best as another murder mystery. Now, most people know who the werewolf was in the original, so I think there are two ways you can go with this. Have the audience in on the fact that the priest is the killer from the beginning, so they can see his struggles with being a murderous monster once a month, seeing how he chooses his victims and the struggles with the morality of it, or the lack of morality, would be interesting glimpse into the dual minds of a killer. The second way to do it is have someone new be the killer. But I think the killer should remain someone of importance to the small town, such as a school principal, a police chief, the fire chief, or even the mayor. This way, you play up the paranoia and the splintering of the town as they continue guessing who the killer is and try to shelter themselves from the danger by closing themselves off to friends and neighbors. Number four, Children of the Corn. With the fear of genetically modified food and toxins in our food and water, this movie has a great amount of relevance. The backlash of the children against their parents would be a great thing to explore. I was just starting before the adults had been slain, so you can explore the background. You can explore the themes of religion, and how it goes into fanaticism, which also plays a big part in our world today and throughout history. Watching as the cult forms around the leader and their fanaticism starts to grow. Isaac would exploit the vulnerable, those who have genuine grudges against their families and parents, and it would all seem very reasonable at first. But the group would require greater sacrifices from the followers until they are slaves to the cult. Number 5, Body Snatchers. This movie lends itself to a longer television series to allow the creeping fear to start to grow. You start out with a small town where everything seems normal, with the normal small town problems, but people start to act just a little off from normal. As infestation develops, the remaining humans start to question who they can trust because who is left that is still human? You could even expand it into a longer series as the body snatchers start to invade cities. Another development you could have is having someone behind the body snatchers, such as an alien leader or a scientist who created them, who is trying to make the world better, in their opinion, what a better world is. Number 6, Monster Squad. A group of kids must fight monsters to stop the forces of evil from attaining victory. The idea works great as a television series where you have the time to develop the characters and the villains. Despite having to deal with the monsters, they would still have to deal with real life issues like schools, divorcing parents, and bullies. Maybe even a death of one of their comrades. Many of the monsters can be sympathetic, such as the Wolfman and the Frankenstein monster. You could even gear the series more towards kids with a focus on the inner strength people have inside that triumphs over evil, or more towards adults with a heavier focus on having to grow up too fast in the world. I have a hard time picking between these two ideas as they both have some merits and flaws. Number 7, The Howling. A group of werewolves hiding in modern society is an interesting idea. They could have different ideas about how they want the group to proceed with life. Some may want to embrace the human halves, while others may want to embrace the beast within. One of them could even be pursuing a cure for the condition, putting all of them in jeopardy if the human world catches on to what they truly are. Another werewolf could be trying to bring their lover into the pack, but the community might have objections. And there's the idea of the community debating going public with their condition or not, and the risks and rewards that come with that idea. Number 8, Godzilla. I know there have been a couple of television shows, but there are a lot of stories that have built up about the king of monsters over the years. From the manga to the movies, like this, you could use them to work at a slower pace that's available to television. Like you have alien conspiracies, greedy corporations, mad scientists, war hungry militaries, and giant monsters around every corner in the stories. Godzilla is the center of the story, sometimes a villain, sometimes a hero, but he will always be a part of the story as the various figures work against, work around, or work with the king of monsters. There will be good people trying to understand Godzilla and the other monsters, seeing if there can ever be peace in this world of monsters. Number 9, an alien predator, like hunting men for sports. Of course, this is the classic Predator series. And I think it would be great for television. Governments and corporations around the world would seek out the technology for their own use, putting the lives at risk of their people or the people who work for them, for their own greed, and for the power and profits the technology potentially has. The various groups would fight each other as they struggled to take from each other the hard fought secrets they had gathered from the predators. And the predators, in their turn, would fight to keep their secrets or take them back from the thieves who had no right to their technology. Men and women suffering the whole time with the bloodshed caused by the conflicts, as the alien creatures take joy in the deadly hunts this would bring. And finally, number 10, Friday the 13th. Probably my all-time favorite horror series. There was a lot there was talk about making this into a series. And I still think that's a great idea. The story revolves around Jason Voorhees and the effect he has on the communities around him. You can explore the idea of what the law does to try and contain the undead monster from taking the lives of people. Because there'd be people who'd be seeking revenge for the loved ones slain by Jason, those who are curious about the killer. Think of how many people that go on ghost hunts and stuff to places that are very potentially dangerous. And you have people who want to exploit the killer. There's always someone out there looking for the super soldier in horror movies or science fiction. All these all this is occurring as Jason Voorhees does what Jason does, slaying any intruders to his home, Crystal Lake. I hope you've enjoyed this list. If there are any other horror movies you think would make for good television, let me know. Or what you think of these ideas. Do you have any of your own? Thank you. And make sure to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.